Hello everyone, and welcome to this video. If you haven't already, subscribe to improve your chess now and leave this video a like. You won't regret it. I also want to briefly mention a giveaway. When this channel will reach 100 subscribers, I will give away a free copy of Pump Up Your Rating in Chess digitally to one of the lucky subscribers. Alright. Let's get into today's game, played between Ding Liren with the white pieces and Fabiano Caruana with the black pieces. This was the second round of the candidate tournament, which has sadly been postponed due to the coronavirus. Ding began with d4, Caruana replied with d5, Ding went c4, and Fabiano Caruana played c6. Ding Liren went knight f3, knight f6, knight c3, pawn takes c4. This is one of the most common lines of the Slav so far. a4. This is necessary to win back the pawn, or else black plays b5. Bishop f5. Black doesn't try to hold on to this pawn, but instead claims that white has now given up the b4 square. Knight e5 was played in the game, even though e3 is also a common alternative. In the game e6 was played, but the main line is of course knight bd7, knight takes c4, queen c7, followed by g3, and here black plays e5, so that white wouldn't have bishop f4. However, Fabiano Caruana went for a line he had prepared with the move e6. Ding replied with f3, an aggressive move with the idea of e4 taking control in the center. Bishop b4 was played with the idea to answer e4 with bishop takes e4, pawn takes e4, knight takes e4, bishop d2, queen takes d4, giving up 3 pawns for the piece. This is a very unbalanced position, which it is understandable that Ding Liren didn't want to go for. So he went for knight takes c4 in the game, castles was played, and king f2. This is not the most common move, but on a very high depth, the computer actually says that this is the best move. The king is placed better here than on e1, of course. e5 was played in the game between Ding Liren and Fabiano Caruana. However, c5 is the most popular move, but after e4, bishop g6, and knight a2, it's clear that white gets an advantage after taking the bishop. Fabiano Caruana went for the very strange looking e5. This of course is preparation. Knight takes e5. Bishop c2. If black doesn't play this move, then white gets e4, and it seems as if white has a very good center for no compensation at all. Bishop c2. Queen d2. c5 attacking white center. d5. Bishop b3. e4, rook e8, queen f4, and now c4 was one idea of Fabiano Caruana's preparation. Knight takes c4, knight bd7 was played in the game, bishop e3, getting the dark squared bishop out to defend the king a little, and also preventing bishop c5 with check. Knight f8 with the idea of knight g6, which is a very powerful idea, so white defends with bishop d4, with the idea to take on f6 if black chooses to go for knight g6 here. Knight g6 was played in the game, queen f5, bishop takes c4. This is black's idea. However, the computer notices that queen c1 is better, but it allows knight takes e4, pawn takes e4, rook c8, threatening the knight on c4, knight d2. And here, if you want to, you can pause the video and find the tactical move that black has, which wins material. Alright, it's bishop takes d5. As if white takes the bishop back with the pawn, then black will have queen h4 check, followed by picking up the bishop on d4. So white has to play queen d1, but black doesn't really have sufficient compensation for the piece here, so white is better. Queen f5 is played in the game. It's logical that you don't want to allow knight takes e4. Maybe Ding Liren thought that Fabiano Caruana had prepared something very smart there. Bishop takes c4, bishop takes c4, queen c7. Threatening the bishop, so the bishop has to move, of course. And now Fabiano Caruana's idea, bishop c5. Now white has to be very careful. Ding Liren went for bishop takes c5, and if you want to, you can stop the video and find out what perhaps the most accurate move is in this position. Right, it's an in-between move, rook e5. Here was the first time after bishop takes c5 that Fabiano Caruana began thinking. This was where he was no longer relying on preparation. It's often very difficult to make the first move after you're out of your preparation, so it's commonly suggested to solve tactical puzzles before the game so that you warm up your chess vision, but simple tactical puzzles, to not use too much energy on them, and also to think a tiny bit on the moves that you prepare so that you are in the chess mode, because Ding Liren has been thinking about very many moves, perhaps since move 10, while Fabiano Caruana has just been walking around and blitzing moves, so he's not really in the chess mode. Fabiano Caruana went for queen takes c5, but rook e5, with the idea to answer queen h3 with knight f4, and queen h4 with g5, queen g3, knight h5. Now the queen, after queen g4, queen takes c5, it's probably good for black. Bishop d4 is the best move according to the engine. And then we reach a very double-edged sharp position, where white has two minor pieces and a couple of pawns for the queen, but white is also going to gain some more material, so it's very unclear who is better here. Both players would have a good chance of winning. However, Fabiano Caruana took on c5, king f1, and here he played a very slow move, h6. h6 has an idea, of course. If you want to, you can stop the video and find out what's wrong with the move queen b4 in this position, and this will help you understand why h6 was played. Right, here white has queen g5, with the idea to retreat with the queen, and white's position is safe again, and white simply has one pawn more than black, and also a strong central pawn. So h6 is prophylaxis against queen g5, but it's a very slow move. Rook d1 was played in the game, queen b6 threatening on b2, rook d2 defending on b2, this was the idea of rook d1, queen e3, rook c2, a6 with the idea of b5, b4, trying to harass white's pieces, though it's not really believable that black has sufficient compensation, even though temporarily white's rook on h1 is misplaced. Queen h3, b5, queen g3, a very long maneuver, but after queen f2 the queen will help protect white's king, and also push black's queen back a little perhaps. b4 was played in the game, knight d1, and queen b3. This was Fabiano Caruana's idea, winning a pawn on a4, but white has two very strong central pawns, so a pawn on the flank doesn't have too much value. Queen f2, with the idea of g3, king g2. Fabiano Caruana tries to stop that with the move queen d7, so that he can answer g4 with queen h3. Ding Liren isn't too afraid and plays king g1. a5 is played, queen d4. Now king f2 may become an idea. Knight h5. Knight f2 pushing black's queen back. And f4. Threatening the knight on h5. And if black moves it, then white starts pawn storming in the center. And black is completely helpless. So Fabiano Caruana took on f4, but this gives up a piece. Knight takes f4, but after some accurate moves by Ding Liren, he was just a piece up for the rest of the game, and it was an easy converting task for him. He is able to win a pawn, another pawn, a third pawn. Ding Liren gave Fabiano Caruana no chances after he had won the piece. It is a bit funny that Ding Liren was quarantined for 2 weeks in Russia before the candidate tournament and lost almost every round in the candidate tournament except for this one. In fact, Alexander Grishuk joked about him being poisoned in the quarantine, and that was the reason to blame for Ding Liren's bad chess. But in this particular game, he held a very solid victory against Fabiano Caruana. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this video, everyone, and see you in the next one.